Welcome to another episode of the Backyard Barbecue. On this week's episode, we're going to show you how to make some delicious ribs on the Pit Boss grill. Stay with us and I'll walk you through it. Take our ribs here and we're going to pull off this lining here on the back of them. And we remove that because it allows the seasoning to get to the meat a lot better, and then also it's a little less chewy when we're eating them. So you're going to grab the skin like this. I do a paper towel, just easier to hold on to it, and then just pull that skin right off. Now that you got your silver skins off of your ribs, we're going to flip them over meat side up. Now some people like to trim them up and square them up. I'm just going to leave them as is, and we're just going to cook them as they came in the package. I am going to use a binder today. I'm just going to use some regular mustard, and I'm going to put that on both sides just to kind of help the seasonings adhere to the ribs. So we're just going to put a little bit of it on like this, and we're just going to use our fingers and rub that in. This just helps act as a little bit of a binder. It doesn't give it a lot of flavor, but it does give it just a little bit of flavor. Let's flip them over. We'll do the same thing to the back. I like to season my ribs about 20 minutes before I put them onto the smoker. I don't like to leave them and let them sweat for very long. We just want them to sweat just a little bit, and then we're going to throw them right on the smoker. Now that we got our silver skin off, we've got some mustard as a binder spread out over them. We're going to start to season these. So I've got a few different seasons. I got this bone sucking sauce seasoning that we're going to put on. I've got some Duck's Wild Game, and then also some Duck's Buffalo Season. We're going to put some layers on this. It's all about the layers. So the first one here, I'm going to put the buffalo sauce on first, and we're going to just put a good helping of this on. Nice even coats on the front and back. And then the second layer that we're going to put on is the bone sucking sauce. Again, just a nice heavy layer. And then we're going to press it down just a little bit, and then we're going to let that just sit for a little bit and let it sweat. All right, now that we let these rest for about 5 minutes, we're going to flip them over. And now for the meat side, I'm going to start off with this bone licking on this one. Get it nice and coated. And then we're going to finish it off this time on the meat side with the buffalo. This is just going to give it a nice, good little kick to it. Not too hot. I'm going to press that in. Like I said, we're going to let these sit for about 20 minutes. Let them sweat just a little bit, and then we're going to go right on to the Pit Boss with them. While our meat is resting for about 15-20 minutes and allowed to sweat, we're going to get the pellet stove all warmed up. I'm going to use the smoke setting here on the controller. Now I'm going to use the preset P4 setting. That's going to smoke about 250 degrees, and that's going to be perfect for these ribs. Now that our meat has rested for about 20 minutes and our grill is all warmed up, we're going to get these racks on the grill. So we're going to put them bone side down, meat side up. Alright, we're going to shut this lid and we're going to let this cook for about 2 hours. After 2 hours, we're going to pull them off. We'll get them wrapped up and we'll cook them for an additional 2 hours. All right, now that our ribs have been going for about 2.5 hours, they are just about right, and I'll show you what they look like. Oh yeah. So what we're looking at on these ribs is that the rub that we put on, if you can touch it and it not come off, that's about exactly what we want to be at right now. They're not done yet, but we can start to cover them and we can finish them off the rest of the way. But before we pull these off, we're going to get our secret sauce ready for when we wrap them. All right, now we're going to make our little secret sauce. We've got aluminum foil set down. We want 2 pieces of aluminum foil for each rack of ribs. And what we're going to do is we're going to take a handful of brown sugar and we're going to make a line on the bottom of the tin foil here. And then we're going to take some butter and we're going to put a few pieces of butter across the top of that brown sugar. And then get yourself some honey and we're going to put a line of honey across this. And then we're going to pull off a rib and we're going to put it meat side down, wrap it up, and then put it back on for about 2 hours. All right, so let's grab one of these ribs. We'll start with this one here. Pull him off. We're going to bring it over here and we're going to lay it meat side down right on top of our brown sugar. We're going to take 2 of these tin foils and we're going to wrap it up tight. The reason why we're going to double tin foil it is we don't want any of the bones poking through. And once we got it wrapped up, we're going to throw it back on the grill for another about 2 hours, and we're going to repeat this with the other 2 ribs. So now that we got our ribs all tightly packed with the brown sugar, the honey, and the butter, we're going to turn up the grill to about 300 degrees. And then we're going to let this go for about 2 hours. I'm going to set a timer for about 1.5 hours and I'm going to check it. What we're looking for is the meat pulling back on the bones about 1/4 inch. And we want an internal temperature about 205 to 210 degrees. You can cook it longer if you want a more tender rib, or you can pull it off a little bit sooner if you want them a little firmer. But I'm looking for about 205, 210 degrees. All right, it's been 1 hour since we wrapped them and put it back on the grill. Let's get a temperature check and see exactly where we are. Remember, the target temp that we're trying to get is somewhere between 2 and 210 degrees. 205 is perfect, but anywhere in that 2 to 210 is pretty good. I'm going to open that up. I'm going to use a thermometer here and make sure you're not hitting any bones. So we're about 206 right there, 209, 207. I think we're right about there. So we're going to pull these off. We're going to cut one up and see how it tastes. All right, let's get this opened up. These ribs look really good, so let's cut a few off here. They are super tender. Alright, now that we got a few bones there, now we're going to try a taste of these here. That looks really good. Wow. That is super tender. It's nice and sweet. You get a little bit of hint of that buffalo seasoning in there. The outside is caramelized really nice. I'm gonna finish this whole bone before I talk anymore. But those are really good. But can't just take my word for it. Let's get some more taste testers in here. You ready to try some of this?
Yeah.
Alright. This is a little hot though, okay?
Okay.
Well, I'll cut it off the bone a little bit for you. There's a piece, Jackson. And then there's a piece. You want to blow on it a little bit? It's a piece for you. There you go. Go ahead and try it.
Yummy.
Is it good?
But hot.
Hot, but really good? Alright, let's have Mom try a bone here. There's a bone for you.
Oh, that's really good. Nice and sweet.
Yeah.
Really moist.
Falls
Off the bone. It was really good.
If you liked this video on how I showed you to smoke some delicious ribs, hit that like button. And don't forget to hit the subscribe button and ring that bell so you get all the notifications when we upload a video. And as always, remember to take a kid on an outdoors adventure.